At Phil and Edie's wedding, everyone gathered to celebrate the joyous occasion. Larry Kaczynski, Phil's nephew, and Maria Hardy, Edie's daughter, are meeting for the first time. Their first conversations are light and casual, as befits such a family celebration. The atmosphere of the wedding is filled with the murmur of voices, laughter, and the sound of music. But suddenly Larry and Maria's attention turns to the absence of their spouses. Tish, Larry's wife, and Tom, Maria's husband, have disappeared somewhere. Initially, this causes mild concern, which develops into a vague suspicion. After a while, Tish and Tom return. Tom is a car salesman, explaining that he was showing Tish a car that broke down unexpectedly. However, there is a sense of something secretive in his demeanor. Larry notices a certain unnaturalness in the situation, and Maria catches her husband's evasive look. Despite the explanation, the atmosphere between the four characters becomes tense. Larry and Maria try to distract themselves by immersing themselves in small talk with other guests, but the feeling of unease remains. A few days after the wedding, Tom begins to get rid of his love affairs. His behavior becomes more secretive and he spends a lot of time traveling, claiming to be busy with work. However, his past catches up with him. One of the women he had an affair with demands an explanation. Tom, wanting to save face in his current marriage, decides to make a final break with his previous relationship. Meanwhile, Tish notices the coldness in his attitude, but does not try to find out the reasons, preferring to focus on her work as a makeup consultant. Tom still tries to get back to Tish and one day explicitly declares his desire to resume their close relationship. But Tish, realizing that her feelings for her husband have faded, firmly refuses him. This refusal comes as an unexpected blow to Tom. For the first time, he finds his charms failing. He leaves feeling humiliated and angry, while Tish feels relieved that she has been able to stand up for herself. Another family event comes up with a big celebration where all the loved ones gather. However, the joy is overshadowed by tragedy as Phil suddenly dies. This shocks everyone, especially Edie, who has barely begun a new chapter of her life. Phil's brother, Vince, shows up at the funeral. He immediately shows concern for the widow and expresses his willingness to support her not only morally, but also financially. He offers to buy out Phil's business to save Edie the trouble. His interest in her, however, goes beyond a business relationship. Edie, though touched by Vince's attention, is not yet ready to make a decision. She reflects on her life and how often she has had to adapt to circumstances. Vince, meanwhile, becomes more and more insistent, asking her to spend time together. Larry and Maria continue to run into each other at family events and unwittingly spend more and more time together. Their conversations become increasingly frank. Larry reveals that his marriage to Tish has long since lacked the passion it had in the beginning. He feels that their relationship has become more like a partnership than love. Maria shares her doubts about Tom. She admits that his absence from home and his mysterious behavior make her feel lonely and unwanted. One day Larry invites Maria for a walk. They walk along the river, enjoying the silence and nature. It becomes a moment of solitude for both of them where they can be themselves. Larry recalls moments from his childhood associated with this place and Maria genuinely enjoys his stories. In this moment, a subtle bond develops between them that grows into more than just friendship. Tish notices that Larry has become more distant. She tries to get his attention, but her efforts are ineffective. Tom, meanwhile, spends more and more time alone, trying to cope with the realization of his mistakes. He realizes that he has broken the trust in his relationship and tries to find a way to fix it, but he doesn't know where to start. Maria and Larry decide to spend a weekend together to sort out their feelings. They travel to the house where Maria's relatives once lived. There they enjoy the peace and the opportunity to be together. They talk frankly with each other, revealing their deepest thoughts and dreams. Larry confesses that in recent years his life has seemed empty to him, and Maria says she feels trapped in her marriage. Their mutual understanding and support becomes the foundation for a new phase in their lives. The finale of the movie focuses on how the characters make their decisions. Larry and Maria realize that their feelings for each other are stronger than mere sympathy. They decide to leave their past relationship and start a new life together. Vince proposes to Edie and after much deliberation she agrees, seeing him as a sincere man who was willing to be there for her. Tom and Tish realize their mistakes and break up, recognizing that their relationship was doomed from the beginning. They each find their own way to make a fresh start. Larry and Maria finally allow themselves to be happy, realizing that they have found in each other the love they have always dreamed of.